Hello, my name is Adam, and today I'll be talking about the aesthetic usability effect. So, what is it? Aesthetic usability effect, also referred to as apparent usability, is a psychological occurrence or phenomenon where people perceive more aesthetic designs as being easier to use than less aesthetic designs. And when I say the word aesthetic, I am talking about designs being more visually striking or more attractive to a user. As a result, this effect makes a design seem more intuitive or usable to an individual. And overall, people tend to believe that if it looks better, it works better, even when that is not necessarily the case. Why is it important? When it comes to a product, first impressions can be crucial. Aesthetic designs look easier to use and tend to create better user attitudes when compared to less aesthetic designs. Even if a product suffers from problems, aesthetically pleasing designs seem to make people more tolerant of these design issues. And specifically, it is stated in the book that early impressions influence long-term attitudes about a product's quality and use. How can it be used? So designers should always keep aesthetics in mind when creating. As already touched upon, positive attitudes can be very important when creating a relationship with the user. Users develop strong feelings towards an aesthetic visual design, and as a result, these positive relationships can actually create lasting loyalty and patience from a user. This is significant because these factors can foster long-term use from a person and allow for better success of a design. Unsurprisingly, less aesthetically pleasing designs can create a negative relationship with a user that can induce stress or fatigue on a person and can ruin the viability of a product, even if it's technically usable. Let's move on to some good examples. When I think of successful aesthetic designs, my mind goes straight to Apple because it is simply everywhere nowadays. Apple has succeeded in garnering intense customer loyalty because they have really raised the bar when it comes to aesthetically pleasing devices. Their attractive, expensive designs reel people in to look at their products, and they have created an entire lineup or ecosystem of products that keep people coming back for more, with a now well-known physical and visual look and feel. However, I think we can all admit that the iOS software is not without its issues. Apple, as a result, has smartly fused its technology into an aesthetic design that has been arguably far more successful in pushing the envelope when compared to a lot of other brands. I believe this is also true for the car brand Tesla. On the pricier side, Tesla has definitely built a brand based on aesthetics and technology. Tesla's strategy has made it essentially the leading brand of electric car startups and is one of the only ones that have really survived in this particular market. Tesla has created a specific look that is very distinguishable by the public and very sought after in the luxury market. This futuristic approach to design has created a wow factor for many and as a result, has established a positive relationship in people's minds. As can be seen, Tesla has successfully created a club of intensely brand loyal owners. It can be safe to say that Tesla would not have been as successful if it solely focused on their electrical engineering. Its equal focus in design really catapulted the brand onto the main stage, making it competitive and a frontrunner against traditional car brands. Let's move on to some bad examples. A bad use of aesthetics but pretty good usability is Wikipedia. Wikipedia definitely does not focus its attention on aesthetics, and as can be seen here, the site is not filled with colorful UI components or striking images. Instead, this free encyclopedia gets straight to the point, prioritizing legibility and accessibility for users. However, this lack of aesthetics hinders the site. Wikipedia is already seen as an unreliable resource, and this bare-bones approach to content does not help with its reputation, resulting in a somewhat negative relationship with users and creating an overall sense of unprofessionalism. Another example that is a bit more drastic than Wikipedia is Craigslist. When you are first brought to the landing page, you are overwhelmed by a vast amount of blue text that isn't really well divided up in terms of hierarchy. Everything is very bleak, and it is apparent that not much thought went into the design work. Although the site is successful in what it does, which is buying and selling, perceptions about the site are pretty drastic. There have been many incidents involving the site, and the visual look of Craigslist does not help ease its sketchy reputation. Aesthetic usability effect comes into play here because the lack of aesthetics makes a user create a negative relationship with the site, even though it is technically usable. In conclusion, designers should always strive to create aesthetic designs. Aesthetic designs can be perceived as easier to use and can foster long-lasting relationships with users that can aid in the creativity and advancement of a product. Thank you.